Do you see value out of product and user data on your screen?
Absolutely.
Can people see my face?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Cool. So I'm David. I founded a company called Screen Interaction back in 2008, and along the way we changed name to Daresay. Thank you very much, Andreas. I think some of our areas will kind of overlap each other, but I have very much a design mindset when it comes to data, and also maybe focus on developing new products and services, because that is something I think is very exciting and something I do with Daresay. So here's a picture of me and some Daresay people, but also Janne from WSI. So thank you very much for having me. We have done a number of projects together, and I think our companies see a potential that we would make very good partners to make product development happen fast. I think WSI is a really cool company that seems to be able to take on almost any project. So now some Daresay slides, a bit boring. We're about 80 people. Half of us work with design, half of us work with development. I think when you combine technology and design, then you, as a design agency, can help your customers to get out new concepts, products, and services for real. And I think we've been very successful with that. So I will show a few examples. This is a new one that we're very proud of for Umeå Energy, about solar panels and the data around that. Are you selling energy right now, or are you consuming energy? We'll have quite a high tempo here. Länsförsäkringar, a Swedish bank that we worked with for 6 years, done a lot around their mobile services, and they've been very successful. A lot of data. I will not share any data with you about Länsförsäkringar, and not about Umeå Energy or any other client as well. But I have some other stuff that I want to share. Clas Ohlson Home is a product that I'm very proud of. We have helped Clas Ohlson to do their first, let's call it Internet of Things service. Clas Ohlson is a retailer, but with Clas Ohlson Home, you can buy something, bring it with you home, and you can set up these smart light bulbs and smart electrical outlets that you can control from your Clas Ohlson Home app. Försäkringskassan, or the Social Security Agency of Sweden, will not share their data as well. But if you look at people staying home with sick kids in February every year, I'm always so proud that we set a new record. Swedish kids seems to be sicker and sicker for every year. And from my point of view, it has something to do with the mobile services that we developed with Försäkringskassan many years ago. Maybe other people would see it more, that it has to do with whatever this digital transformation is, because I think is when services gets easier, it's easy to do the correct thing, then people will report stuff more. I don't believe that Swedish kids are much sicker today than 10 years ago. And now I will start with stuff where I can actually talk about the data and share the data. And Andreas was from Spotify, so I just had to show my little Spotify hack, Photify, and now I hope the video will work for you. Otherwise, you need to tell me. So Photify is a way of it started as a way of taking photos of record covers to play the albums on Spotify. So here we had the part of a Beastie Boys album. And then you get it and you can play it. By copyright reasons, I will not do it. Soon people started to take other types of pictures and send into Photify. So here was some kind of gadget. And you get another song. I think this is pretty fun. What artist is this? Of course, it's the top tracks for Madonna. So when I think about data, when people think about data, sometimes I think it's the, we have this matrix kind of starting point, which I think is completely wrong. What do you think is the data generated by Photify? I have them on the next slides. It's this kind of stuff. This is just some examples of data that Photify collected. I have so many pictures that I cannot share with you, and I never want to see again because people are crazy. Knives is pretty popular, at least a few years ago when the knife was popular. Ketchup bottles is quite common in Photify because people like the ketchup song, I think. So, in the Photify case, data is not really this ones and zeros, right? I think there's one good picture on this Google image search that I did, and it's this one. I think to collect data is quite easy. To build some knowledge on it, you might need some visualization. Everyone is not good with statistics, but it's pretty easy. But the problem with data is really to find ways to act on it. I got a son, Timothy, and that year the Fitbit, this motion tracker sensor, was like the most popular product around Christmas. So I put this on my little son and collected some data, and the data showed that he moved around more than what I did because I just went to the office and we were sitting there all the way. So I took some action on that summer that ended up on Furendal, which should be the Faroe Islands in English, I guess, because I understood that I cannot be sitting still in the office all the time. One example of how to take action. This is my house where I am right now. I wanted to see if you could measure stuff in the house. I got this thing. I don't know if you can see it. It's called Telstick, I think. It's quite cheap. It can collect data from these type of cheap motion sensors. So I put them up everywhere in the house. And then I created a website. So there were a page called kitchen.html. I had bathroom, I had living room, I had stairway. And every time someone moved, this little thing visit that website. And then I could use Google Analytics to track the data. I still can't believe that we walk up and down the stairway 40 times every day. Try to count it, but there was much more than I ever expected. Coming back to what to do with it, the action take. I had decided to renovate the living room, but as we spent so much more time in kitchen, we did more of a kitchen renovation because that was the data told us. I had this idea that you would be less indoors in the summer than in the winter. That was completely wrong. I think it has to do with you having a vacation in the summer and us spending time in the home. So for me, that was an inspiring way of trying to track something in a simple way. We'll move on. Talking about some more business-related projects. When it comes to Daresay, I think design agency, the design method is very much that you start with listening. And that is a way of collecting qualitative data. And then you analyze and try to understand what you hear. And then you can ideate on this, because listening and analyzing creates this great material that you can innovate from. And then core is to find ways of prototyping and doing it fast. And maybe this motion sensor thing could be seen as one example how how you fast can connect your house to learn more about that. For me, really core with creating new services, new products, is to repeat this loop over and over again and find ways to do it fast. Otherwise, it gets waterfall, and we all know that we shouldn't do that, right? So prototype is really core, and as these slides say, we approach every mission with a prototyping mindset. Are we designing a roadmap? Are we creating an app? Are we building a new business? Prototype is key. How can we find ways to create prototypes, test something early? It's a great help. Make, show, learn would be the same process as before. When you make something, you show it to someone, you get a reaction and you learn something. When you make something and you try to show it to something and it fails because the technology is not there, then you learn something about the technical requirements that you need in the future. I really think the more you can repeat this and find ways to be brave enough to show something to your boss or to your colleague, to share something too early, there's a great way to get innovation to happen. We want to do something within energy sector, and we looked at some data, and now we'll play a video again. Let's see if it works. So you could say that was the outcome of this week of work. I started with some quantitative data. We saw that quite a few Swedes are affected by electric outages every year, and sometimes more than once. So we just looked at some information online. Where is it an electrical outage right now? And then we went to some website and found people living in that area. And we started sending out text messages to them with information about when the electrical outage was supposed to be over. And then we could collect quantitative data about how many people did click the link and what did they do on our website. And I had this great idea about trying to sell, electrical outage packages. It was, a bit of candy and some thing to power up your mobile phone, or some battery package that you could have something. And people hated that, so I included this picture. There's a garbage can there. There's also some Swede who is famous for. Testing products that are shit. So that idea of mine was really bad because people didn't want to buy anything. They had an electrical outage. But then we called up 10 of these people and listened to them, asking open questions. And we found some value in this project. That was not selling this stuff, but there's such a potential for company selling electricity to inform their customers and to kind of build on the customer relationship in a situation where the electricity is gone, because everyone wants this information. This is what you're looking for on your mobile phone, and by being proactive and send it to them and start a dialogue, there you have something that you can do something interesting with. So this could be seen as an example of, you have some kind of idea, but maybe you learn something else along the way. I have my last case here. It's called Dataprata. I will show the video. I think it might be some parts in Swedish. How do you meet your relatives when you're not supposed to meet? It's about elderly being isolated during COVID-19. We worked for a week remote, and we released Dataprata. It's a service that makes it easy for non-digital natives to do video calling.
Vi ville helt enkelt göra något.
I will go on. So some quantitative data. This initiative Dataprata.se became really popular. We got over 10,000 visitors during the first week, and we have over 20,000 people who have set up video calls throughout this service. We even managed to invent the word Dataprata, at least according to Google Trends, because it never existed in Sweden before, but now it seems to be used to some degree. But what do you think made this service well designed or made it work? I think there was some parts in the video that showed it, and it's really about the qualitative data, the qualitative insights. This is quantitative, but this one says during this week when we designed, we collected customer insights. And we did this through to video calls with elderly, and we asked open questions, and we asked them to explain the challenges with video calling or getting started with Facebook or using your iPad, and based on that we created prototypes that we could show to people again and get a reaction on, and that is the way to designing new services, to kind of understand and get reactions and collect insights and then iterate. I think we got this email from a Roger. Hello, thank you that you exist. You are a pearl. My friends in north of Sweden can now, thanks to you, perform their board meeting. 11 elderly that are not used with computers are now doing it remote. Best regards, Roger. So it was we got tons of those emails from people who are using Dataprata and have managed to get started with video calls, which is another example of qualitative data that warms your heart. So if I have some main points, I would say prototype and listen and do it fast. That's the way to successful service development. Thank you.